Right, so sum it up. I'm going to sum it up for you right here. Swanee plays his favourite team on a ground that he has dominated in the past against a team he had 172 against last year.
Tick, tick.
Good. He's just got no option. He hasn't done us wrong yet. But as I said, for the record, I will not be going Swan as my number one next week. And it's not through Twitter pressure.
No,
right?
no.
And it's not if he has a bad score this week. Oh, it gets to me, dog. I'll hook you. So, look, if he has a bad score this week, I'm getting off him anyway. That's what people are going to say. Oh, Calvin, you got
okay,
right.
yeah, good game.
Against Geelong next week, I'm not going to touch it, right? I'm going to find someone better, and I am off it. But I'll tell you what. What annoys me is this. Oh, Calvin, how about I go Jagger O'Meara captain? What? And I write back to him, you're getting bored, mate. Like, you've just got your ADD on, you lost interest in the game.
Are you scoring that well?
Dream team is getting so boring for these guys that they're like, oh no, I'm going Ollie Wines. Do it then, you dick. Like, what? I can't believe that people do that. Tell you what, the pig, I've been pretty well controlling my oinks. He's going to pig it up that much at the pigsty at Patterson's, where he'll go into the change rooms at half time, stick the fingers down his throat and go because he's going to be that full of points he'll want to empty his belly out to fill up in the second half.
Oh, that was a
I thought I broke him.
He's back.
Tell you what, get on the pig. You're stupid if you don't.
It sounds like it.
All right, time to get into these little Twitter time things. So don't forget, the very most important thing to do is to follow us on Twitter at CalvinDT, at RoyDT, at WarneyDT. That will give you lots of really insightful information. Great captain stats this week. I actually quite enjoyed that.
Got me a few extra followers too. Thank you very much.
Did you?
Yeah, a few sneak peeks in the future.
Oh, hot on my heels, Calvinator.
Catching, Roy.
Damn it.
Catching.
What are these people
All right,
got
here
to
we
say?
go. Let's have a look at some tweets here. Let's get into our first one. All right, boys. This is from me. Hey, how did the buys work this year?
Hey.
A common question to me this week. It has been a common
Do
question.
you know what? You would answer this best too.
All right. I've answered it a few times. Now, I put it in there because I've had a truckload of questions about it.
Yeah.
Okay, really important things to do. The best 18 isn't just the best 18 out of the 30 players you've got there. The really important thing is that it comes from your 22.
Right.
So you can't just have 1 week where you'd have the 10 midfielders, like your 8 on the ground and the 2 on the bench.
Yeah.
It won't work like that, okay? So they've got to come from your 22. So you do need to really think about the spacing of those. Using things like the Footy Nerd little app.
That
if
is
you
brilliant.
Can use that,
That is brilliant.
helps you. Google that and
And
you'll find
it's
out
very
more about
user
that.
friendly because I use
Even
it,
Roy
or
can
even
use
I
it.
can use
So,
it. Yep.
But yeah, so you still need to have a bit of a decent spread and have a think about your trading. See, my Bo Waters Genius trade, that was thinking about the buys because I was thinking he's a round 12 buy. I actually needed some more of those players in there. Otherwise, I was going to be way too stacked in those other rounds.
I like the idea.
Can I make a comment? I looked at my team the other day with the Footy Nerd thing, and I haven't done it all year. I am really, really heavy in round 13.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay?
I'm heavy there.
But that's not a bad thing to do because once the guys who have had their buy in round 11, switch, 12, switch, and that's going to... So if you want to be heavy in any round, am I right by thinking 13 is the way to
no,
go?
that is correct.
Bloody hell, I'm switched on.
But really, you've only got 4 people you can shift around, don't you?
Yeah. So it's not going to be huge. Nix then follows up. Are there any captains' emergencies during buy rounds? Captains, yep, because Calvin would be out of a job otherwise. But emergencies, they won't happen. But emergencies will happen if you have a late withdrawal. So if a player that was supposed to play that week, maybe I'm making this up, but I'm pretty sure that would still work the same because a player that is out that week would still need to replace.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I think.
Good question,
I don't know.
though.
That is a good question.
It's
Maybe
a great question.
Pete Jank can tell us what
Leave
to
that
do
one
there.
with us.
That's all right. All right, let's move on to the next
Twitter,
one. Okay.
follow it.
Sam wants to know, upgrade to Gary or Stevie J?
Well, how could you ever say to not go with Gary against Melbourne?
Yeah.
It'd be unprofessional of us not to.
It would be stupid, Roy.
Stevie J, though,
Gun.
definitely get him in.
But
They'd be pretty close in price anyway, though, wouldn't they?
They would be very close in price
every day of the week.
And Stevie's in amazing form, etc. But Gary, get him in there.
Just got to pick him. All right, here's the next one. Jack wants to know, who should I downgrade to Flostone? Should it be Heath, Stephenson or Crouch? Already upgraded to bring Johnson in. Money's not an issue. So which one should he go to him with, Heath or Stephenson? I think Crouch, not really. You probably don't want to do it. No. He'll hopefully be back next week because he hasn't made us any money yet. So Heath or Stephenson?
Toss the coin, I reckon.
Do you know what?
Guys. I find those guys hard to split.
They are very hard to split. I'm leaning towards Stephenson just.
I'd probably say Stephenson because he's been dropped before.
Yeah.
Heath stayed in the side.
Yeah.
Probably more integral to the side.
Yeah.
So Stephenson just for me.
But that one is definitely a toss of the coin.
All right, moving along to the next one. Matt wants to know, who is a better option, Stevie J or Dale Thomas for Westhoff? Extra cash by going for Daisy could become very handy. So that is the thing. Stevie J, you'd pick him every day of the week over Daisy. At the moment. However, there is that, geez, what is it? It's probably about 160.
It's a lot of money.
Maybe even more.
No, it'd be about 140, I reckon.
Oh, is it? Right. So there is pretty decent difference.
Oh, it's an amazing
difference. Especially if you thought about next week, bloody wines to someone, you're getting to a lot better player than just your Britters.
I've got a sneak peek preview of my assistant coach article going up tomorrow where I was actually asked this question.
Right. Okay.
Now,
was
this
it
is
all...
It could have been. So this is just off the top of my head. However, Stevie J he's got a break even of 58 this week.
Yep.
I'm thinking these guys are both such good value. You want them both in at the moment. Okay, so that's the mindset I went with answering this. Stevie J break even of 58. Daisy break even of 68. Playing a game against Fremantle where I think he will cop a tag.
Yep.
I say get Stevie J in this week, Daisy next week.
Okay.
So that's just my opinion.
That sounds good enough.
And I think they are both. No, what's his name? Stevie J's history against Essendon is brilliant. His history against Collingwood next week is excellent. You really got to get him in straight away. Yep.
I'm in a mind like that too. Just get the guy that is definitely better because you have all these plans and stuff turns to shit anyway next week. So
certainly do, Dale.
All right, next question comes in from Jaden. What should I do with Matthew Wright? Calvin, you can answer this because you've got him too.
I'd go to the shed, mate. No, don't go to the shed. Oh, Matthew Wright. I'll tell you what. I am in a dilemma with him at the moment, with him and Hoff. I need to offload one.
Yep.
Matthew Wright is worth about as much as a bucket of seaweed at the moment. I would not even bother. I am just going to ride him out. Ride him out, not ride him out.
Yeah.
You just got to stick with him. He's worth nothing.
He's not right.
No. Mate, I'd patch up other things. He's obviously back in the team. He's been subbed once. I doubt he's going to be subbed again in the next month. I'd be very surprised if he
Takes
was.
two to sub though.
Stick with him. Hey, you're asking me the advice.
Yeah.
Stick with him, mate. He's the right stuff.
All right, moving on to Heath. He wants to know, should he trade Wines to Flostone? So he has done that to free up cash. To trade Pittard to Heppel. Is that a good move? So basically getting rid of Wines now to get in Flostone, who is dual position, and then trades Pittard to Heppel.
Do you know what? It is a good trade. But your team must be in a reasonable position to even have that option.
Yeah.
Someone like Wines, for me, averaging about 90, he's one of my just rocks in there at the moment. So at this stage, despite the fact that usually I would say it's the right time to get him out because his break-even's up to about 84.
I think it is. Yeah.
So I'm definitely prepared to leak a bit of cash. Ride a little up and down with Wines just to get his solid scores.
And he plays Richmond without Cochin. There's a good chance that he's got to get that anyway.
Yeah, so good trade if you're in a good position.
If you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and maybe Pittard mightn't be the best option to do if you can ride him on the bench and get rid of a Stephenson for him.
Do you know what? I reckon I will do that this week.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing to be doing.
Because his break-even's so low.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to be doing, but Pittard's probably the better scorer out of those three as well. So I'm looking to get rid of Stephenson, keep Pittard, hope he's back.
It's a weird thing. They keep talking about him in press conferences as well.
I know.
So he must be a walk-up player in that side.
His last time he played for him, he scored 90. So dream team-wise,
he's got that role.
He's got a higher ceiling than those other ones.
Yep.
And they do talk about him, like you said.
All right, moving along to Camille? All right, Camille. Should I downgrade Monfries to Robbie Gray and pocket 100k? Will Gray score more than Monfries? Yes and yes. I think that's a great trade, really. If you're making 100 grand out of Monfries down to Robbie Gray, I think they're the same player.
I agree. They're much of a muchness.
I reckon they will probably average.
But once again, if you've got the luxury of doing something like that, then go for it.
And that's what 44 trades is about.
I know.
It is.
And do you know what? I like this, but it gets my mind running off in another direction that will actually relate to a lot of people here.
Yep.
This is going to be interesting.
Westhoff to Robbie Gray. It makes you a fortune.
Yep.
And Robbie Gray, sub,
Yep.
not interesting because
Couple
they're
of
sub
80s,
scores.
wasn't he? Yeah.
He's gone 80. He's
Yeah.
gone an 85, I think it was his first full game, was it?
Possibly.
First or second full game. No, first full game I'm going to go out there and say.
Okay.
And he scored 85. And he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It was against North.
Yep.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it either.
I like it.
If you've got the luxury of doing that,
Well,
and he
100
obviously
grand for that, or a lot more for.
well, he
Westhoff.
obviously doesn't have Westhoff.
Yeah.
So if you've got Westhoff,
And
then
it's the way
dump
that
him.
we can play these 44 trades this year. You don't always have to be going like our old school minds was going. I'm getting in a guy that's going to sit in my team for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
These little stepping stones. He could be Buddy. You could make some money out of him going down to Buddy in a 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly like Westhoff to Stevie J for me. It was awesome.
Great move.
All right, moving along to Thomas Bennett. Ollie Wines break even is getting quite high. We've just been talking about this. Is it the right time to let him go? If not, I can't go Dwyer to Thomas. Going Dwyer to Thomas would be a great thing to do this week, I reckon. So if you're getting rid of Ollie Wines to do that, it's probably worth doing.
Definitely.
Yep, Dwyer's near done.
He is. He's cooked.
He's cooked.
He's not on fire, Dwyer.
All right, let's go into Troy's question. Hoff to Bartel or Daisy? Who would you choose out of Bartel or Daisy Thomas?
I would choose Bart.
He's a bit more, but yeah, I would too.
He is a bit more. How much more? I really wish I knew this off the top of my head. I think it's over 100.
Yeah,
it's about
over-
130 grand.
He's been good.
Maybe
About
just for
100.
the point of that cash hit. Like Daisy is a dead set bargain.
Bartel has had some bad games this year.
Yep.
And bad, I'm talking because we have such high expectations for him. Like 80s type jazz.
Yeah.
He had that big score of 130, but Daisy's coming off a big score as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It is a very tough score. Very tough call.
But Bartel's obviously going to be the better scorer for the year.
I think,
but if you want a little bit of cash in your pocket, then Daisy, you got to do it.
Get Bartel in a bit later.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Junk time Jimmy all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that was exciting.
Yeah, it's
It
good
was.
that
That
does
you
that.
want. Right, last question here comes from Ian. I hear you guys swapping notes about player ceilings. I can imagine what they are, but where do I find them? Well, you can't, apart from sort of just researching a player. So a ceiling, when we talk about that, that's what we think a player, what their ability to score is.
Max out.
So what their best scores are, not necessarily their best score, but what we can see that they could get to in a certain
An
game.
example, Dog, what would you say the Pigs' ceiling is?
Oh, 180?
Yeah, it's a 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He's got that, whereas...
He can get a 180. Whereas, okay, what about...
Not going to say Gary because he's
No.
the same.
Yeah.
He's got probably the same ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay, what about a Joe Watson?
Yeah,
What's
see, his ceiling's probably a 130.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
has gone high before, but
Yep.
I think his ceiling would be about 130.
Yep, agree.
Yeah.
It's probably what they'd average at the end of the year in their top 3 games.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. I
So,
like that.
That's a good way to say it.
Well, that's how I do things.
And ceiling, you can nearly say it's only relevant for a select few type of players, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're looking at rookies,
Yeah, exactly.
it's definitely there.
And like
it
saying
burnt
a
us,
Pittard,
it burnt
for
us
example.
last week, actually. We looked at the ceiling of Dwyer
Yeah.
versus McCaffer, didn't
Yeah.
we? And Dwyer's pumped out a 90.
And so it's not a be-all and end-all.
No,
That's
oh,
the
it's
other
far
thing
from.
of it.
It's far
Because
from.
sometimes it's better to be safe with the best average. And that's a bit
Well,
like a Birchall.
Yeah.
Birchall's had those big scores, but we all think that he's just that rock at 85 to
Yeah,
90
yeah,
every week.
without a
Or he
doubt.
has been in the past.
Here's one for you. Who has a better ceiling out of Heppel or Hanley?
Oh, I think Hanley
Hep.
does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Hanley goes nuts on that wing sometimes.
Yeah.
Have you seen Hep, though?
He had a
He's pumped
140
out
in Melbourne,
this
though.
year.
has.
That was only on Melbourne. But then Hanley missed the Melbourne game, didn't he?
I say I
Yeah.
stick with Hep there. He's
Yeah.
a sneaky. He can sneak up.
And yeah, right. You still on Hanley or Hep Dog?
I love Hep D. He replied to me on Twitter last night.
Oh,
Did he?
you're
Got
getting
excited
up there.
about
You're
that.
getting
Change
up
your-
there, Snoop.
change
now,
your pants after that, did you?
the reason I like that you said, you know, it's like, except when you're looking at rookies, they're the average of their top three type thing. Because
Yep.
otherwise, we'd all have Brian Lake, who's knocked up a double ton before.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't really look at a one game
Yep.
unless you're looking at rookies, and then you do that, and it's the wrong call anyway.
Agreed.
It's just tossing a coin with
Yep.
rookies. Honestly is. That's it then, boys.
Beautiful work.
Well, game over for this week. Thanks for watching. Sorry about the technical difficulties. If you're watching the replay,
It's just part
if
of
you're
our
seeing
show.
this one, you probably need to see the episode before or the video before just to make
She's
it all
right. They'll
happen.
merge together.
Yeah, they won't.
They won't.
But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the website. Plenty of stuff going on there. Make sure Fridays you check out Dunny's Friday Scramble.
Yep.
And then also the big trading article, Trigger Happy, thanks to Jim Bob. The big ones, get your talk on, work it out, very important, and then chat about it all
Do you know
weekend.
my favourite thing about our second little part 2 of our episode?
What?
I didn't have the workwear hub green vest on. People might not even know.
Go back and watch the first one to see that. Good luck this week.